I thought, great. This week I can just wait for Maury to slow down like he always does, and without looking at the countdown timer, I can just seamlessly come on screen. And then this is the only week he's in a year and a half he's ever just gone and it's changed to me. Every week I've been waiting for that, and he does it this week. Welcome. It is Monday, November 15th. Hope you had a good week. I made a poll just now. I said, have you had a new guitar or new gear day this week? Yes, no, or I'm not allowed to tell you because I'll get in trouble if anyone finds out. So let me know the results of the poll. Perhaps I'll do another poll later on. Without further ado, let's welcome Maury Rich. Here he comes. Nice mark there, Maury.
Well, thank you very much for the well-deserved applause. I appreciate that.
I have a Stream Deck and I'm going to use it. That's right. Now I wish I got the one with even more buttons because I'm having to go up and down pages on the Stream Deck.
Yeah.
But still, it's great. Let's make sure I spelled guitar correctly or I'll get in trouble. Yes, I did. Fantastic. And Maury, let's start by saying, how was your week? Did you play any shows or do anything fun this weekend?
Thanks for asking. I didn't have any shows. We took a little bit of an R&R week where we snuck outside to do some bike riding twice during the week, and luckily we did because the weekend came and it was freezing and cold and raining, and we didn't have anything exciting to report, but we did kind of take 2 days and we took a long lunch and then just worked into the evening. So this time of year we're trying to watch, if it's not going to be a nice weekend, we try to get outside and get into nature a little bit to separate ourselves from these long days in these dark studios and sitting at the desk. So it wasn't anything to brag about, but it was pretty nice. You know.
That's nice. Are you new to biking, or is this a new hobby, or have you always done it?
Yeah, we've been kayaking for a lot of years, and now we started biking about 4 months ago. So pretty new. It's pretty fun. We're not doing the kind of biking that could get anybody hurt. We're going really, really slow. If it's not flat, we're not going there. But it's really like old people biking, if that makes sense.
There's a rumor on the forums there's going to be a Maury's bicycles soon. Is that true?
Very much not true. Nope.
Okay. Let's say hi to our friends. Let us know what weekend you've had in the chat. Look, David was here. As soon as I hit the go live button, David's message popped up. So I'm not sure exactly what. I think he's got one of those bots typing in the chat for him. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I think
good
he
afternoon.
has a good alarm clock.
Very good. Or very fast typer. David, you should get a job as a speed typer because you're that fast. I can't believe it. Good afternoon, Aaron and Maury, and everyone in the chat. I hope you all had a great weekend. Maybe he's not actually there. Maybe he's got one of those YouTube bots that's just putting that in the chat for us.
Good point.
I'm not sure. Jim is here. Hello from Vermont. Just got the snow tires on my wife's car today in time for the snow tonight. I hear it's snowing in some places. It got really cold here yesterday. The temperature just dropped yesterday, and I'm really feeling it now. We've got heat again, but this room is still not heated because I've turned it off. And I'm going to try to keep it off as long as I can for the humidity. I got to say, the big humidifier in the other room is working really well. It's been adding about 10% to the humidity in that room. But in this room, I'm going to try to keep it down. I had a really fun weekend. I took all the foam panels off that you can't see. Remember these foam panels I always talk about, Maury?
Oh, yeah.
The first time I put them up, I used one sticker, one 3M sticker on the back, and they would just randomly fall off on me while I was live. So I took them all down, and I stuck 4 pieces of paper to each side, and I put 4 stickers on each one, and I stuck them all back up again. And so far, none have fallen, and I think I got it this time. So I'll keep you all...
That does sound fun.
I'll keep you updated on the riveting news of Aaron's foams on the wall.
Wow.
Okay? I know you're all dying to hear what happens with those.
Well, if we're talking like that, I swept the living room floor yesterday. If we're going to report every little thing, I should be transparent about that. I did some sweeping.
Maury, this is very relevant. You know, I couldn't find a video on how to do it. I'm going to make a video about it. Because I'm serious, though. People said spray the back with glue, but then how are you going to get it off the wall again? So I think I got it. So I think you know, anyone interested in live streaming, and it is very important because if you don't have it up and you get the ringing around the room, I don't know if people watching us are also live streaming, but it's a small thing you can do to make the room better. All right, so but that's fine. You just mocked me, Maury. It's fine. I'm gonna play this one for that. Hang on. I was looking for a reason to use that sound effect, and you just gave it to me. Thank you. All right. All right. David says, sounds like Maury changed strings, little brighter and louder sounding on your guitar. Are they new?
Honestly,
are they fresh?
They're not, but they're pretty soon to be due. But that speaks to how long the Martin Authentic Acoustics last. Thank you.
Jim says, David, one of these afternoons, I'll beat you in the starting line. I don't think anyone can beat David at the first comment. I'll set that as a new game. Let's see if you can do it. It's raining in upstate New York, says Olds. Jack says, a sunny hello from southern Maryland. Mark Henry says hello. Old says, Jim, please keep the snow in Vermont. Yeah, I don't want any snow here. I hate digging the car out. That's a real drag. You've got to dig the car out. Jack Wickwire says, I did have a nice golf day. Oh, NGD, nice golf day. Mark Henry, can you guess what's in my Soundhole Sniffer mug? Well, I'm guessing it's not tea or coffee based on that comment, Mark. So please do tell. Rosanna says, hi, Aaron and Maury. Happy Monday. Yes, it is a happy Monday. Colin Butters says, greetings all from a dull, dismal UK. Well, that's... now I feel terrible. Thanks, Colin. Willem, how you doing? Good to see you here. Not sure yet if I'll have a new... Well, I mean, so NGD can... I think it means new guitar day, but I think it also means new gear day. It's a bit more general. On the edge of buying a Kemper. Oh, very cool. Now, are you going to get the powered Kemper, the unpowered Kemper, the Kemper rack, the Kemper toaster, or the Kemper stage, Willem? That's a tough decision you have to make there. Maury doesn't know what we're talking about. It's digital. It's technical, all that stuff, Maury. Don't worry.
Let's keep the conversation with stuff I understand, please.
Only bicycles or guitars today. Jim says, does getting my guitar back from the local guitar that did a setup plec job and new pick guard count as a new guitar? Well, new gear. I guess a pick guard is new gear. So yeah, congratulations, Jim. And a plec. I like plecs. They're very expensive in Manhattan, though, the plecs. Rosin says, hi from cold Connecticut, where we had a tornado touchdown Saturday on the high school football field and wiped out the scoreboard.
Wow.
BMO's back. Good to see you, BMO. How's the retro? Rosin says, Jim, that counts. Yeah, we're in agreement there. Willem says, small tip, glue them to a foam board, then use M3 to stick the foam board to the wall. That's what I did, but I cheaped out and used paper. So I cut little pieces of paper and put one on each side. Maybe that's where I messed up, Willem. So thanks. If they fall again, we'll do it your way next time. Bimo says, the mystery guitar is Aaron's new Addy-topped D45. Well, if you're buying, I'm taking Bimo, so thank you very much.
Wow. How'd they find out?
Old says, no new gear day for me last week, but picking up a used 28 Eric Clapton for my luthier next week. There we go. Evo gold frets. Can't wait. Well, there we go. Ooh. That does definitely count. Oh, professional procrastinator. You told me. What's your name? Joe, isn't it? Is it Joe?
Nailed it.
The other day he goes, you can just call me by Joe if you want. I was like, yeah, thanks. Is it Joe? Just checking. I think it's Joe because I remember it by the Hey Joe, the Hendrix song. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Joe says my new guitar was a couple of rather exciting speaker cables. Well, some speaker cables can be as expensive as guitars, so that counts as well. Mark Henry says, my mug content is my current inventory. And it came from Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee? Oh, okay. Bimo says, LOL, and Jim says, $365 for the work done to my guitar. That's for a plec and Evo frets. I'm confused. That sounds good, though. I'm sure you're not in New York City. Joe, that's right, Joe. He's like, on Wednesday's gear chat, I was like, professional procrastinators. And he's like, you can just call me Joe, Aaron. I was like, thank you. I'm just going to call you Joe from now on. That's so much easier.
Aaron, could I interrupt you real quick and ask you a request question?
Sure.
Next time you do your Sunday concert, can I request, hey, professional procrastinator by Jimi Hendrix?
Hey, professional procrastinator. Where you go with that new guitar of yours?
If I super chat, you have to play it, right?
Professional procrastinator. I can't even say it, let alone sing it. What are you trying to do to me? All right, today is Guess the Mystery Martin Guitar. So this is how it's going to work. Maury, tell us how it's going to work.
Well, we're going to have no production meeting before the show. That's important. What I'm going to do, if you guys aren't familiar, we're going to play a live version of the Tuesday podcast that happens every single week. We take one guitar from our current inventory. We're going to play some songs, give you some hints, And at the end of the episode, the big reveal. And we're going to do it in real time. So I'll play 5 selections, original material, on that guitar over there that you can't see. And what's interesting with it being interactive like this, it's the second time we've done it on the Monday show. You guys can start guessing in the chat, and the more help I give you with the clues and with the song selections, instead of listening to it from beginning to end all by yourself, you can sort of, bounce your ideas off of each other. And at the very end is only when you guys are going to learn which guitar it is, and Aaron doesn't even know. So it's going to be fun.
And I just want to say thank you for updating your website, Maury, to this picture here. I just noticed. It just came up on my screen. There we go. You used to have a horrible picture on me. I see you've updated it. So thanks for taking the time.
I changed that 3 months ago. You're welcome.
Also, have you got another camera now? I think I noticed something different about it.
What, this whole thing?
Oh, look at this. He's gone up market again.
Look at that.
Wow. That deserves random. We spare no expense here. We've got another camera to give you that close-up of that sound hole. We'll just do that one more time. I got to tell you, I'm in a funny mood today. I apologize. I don't know why it is. But the sniffer sound effects were actually in the Stream Deck library. These are not mine. These are in the Stream Deck. So I want to give Stream Deck a big shout out for having the Soundhole Sniffer sounds included at purchase. And you can get yours from my Amazon affiliate link. All right, shall we get started? Because Rosanna is incredibly excited to begin. And yes, I've hidden Maury's screen, so I can't see what the guitar is. I'm going to play along with you. And if you win, you get exclusive bragging rights to post on Facebook all week that you were the winner and to tell people to come and see us next time. That'd be great. I'm sure you'll love that. All right. Oh, and also, one more thing. That's what we're focusing on today, but we do have a viewer's comment from Roeth who's going to give us a review of some strings.
Awesome.
So stay tuned. All right. So I'm going to go over to Maury so we can see him. Don't switch guitars yet, Maury.
All right.
I'm going to have to cover you up with this very fancy graphic that we've created here. There we go. And
no expense.
No expense is spared in the graphics department.
No, I mean there was no expense.
Oh, okay. Good. And give us our first clue.
So I'm putting down this guitar because it was not my guitar, and I'll give you one extra hint. It's not my guitar. That's not the answer. So welcome to Maury's Music, and welcome to another edition of Mystery Guitar. We're going to pick one Martin guitar from our current inventory, play some songs, give you some hints, and at the end of the episode, the big reveal. Your first hint isn't much of a hint at all. This guitar is in our current inventory. Thank you very much. The guitar is put away.
Okay, let's go back so we can see what's happening here. All right, so put your thoughts in the chat then. So I don't expect you to tell us what that guitar is yet, but what do you think of the sound of it? Based on that sound, I mean, the clue was not very helpful at all, was it? Because he started off by saying a guitar from our current inventory, and then he said the first clue is that it's from our current inventory. So don't worry about that. But what from the sound alone, Philip Watson's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. From the sound alone, do you think that's a big guitar, a small guitar, a medium-sized guitar, a rosewood guitar, a mahogany guitar, an Addy guitar? So give me some thoughts, and I'll tell you what I think. Let's catch up on the comments. Jim says, who was it that played Spoon's Riding Back to Boston during the last show? I just got the tab and the song. As soon as I learn it, I'll post it. That was Roeth, and he's doing part 2, which is the string review today. Yeah, it was a great performance, and I looked it up too. I found Spoon on one of his live streams from the lockdown, and he plays it. So I was using that to try to learn. Actually, I didn't try to learn it, but I did watch how he was playing it. So, Jim, do me a favor and send that in when you've mastered it. Send us a copy so we can play it on here as well. That'd be great. Oh, Mark Henry got a Colorado capo from some guy in Pennsylvania. Wonder who that was. Vic G says hi to Aaron and Maury. Hi, Vic. Old says Roeth played it last week. That's right. Rosanna's happy about the mystery guitar. She likes this game. Joe says Maury's floating head is spooky. It sure is. Philip Watson says a J Style 28. Wait, is that your... Hang on, is that a new guitar date or is that your guest, Phil? David says, I was thinking that as well, Philip. Oh, I think they're guessing that's the guitar. I mean, I gotta say, if you can name that guitar just from that, then you do deserve a prize, because that'd be truly impressive. Olds is saying high-end Dreadnought. I was thinking something smaller. No, I was thinking a smaller sound. You're saying the J Style 28 and the high-end Dread. To me, that'd have a boomier sound. I don't think it was that boomy myself, unless my in-ears are not incorrectly. Let me just check. We'll see. Bemo says, good ear, Philip. Jack says, sounds like an X, maybe a triple O. Yeah, I was thinking more along those lines, Jack. Old says, or a souped up J body. Rosanna thinks it sounds like a larger body. This is really interesting stuff. Well, Joe says it's definitely a 6-string Martin.
I have my poker face on. I can't give you any kind of feedback till it's over.
Oh, good point. Good point. You're going to give us... Everyone's watching your face and you'll get clues. So, well, hang on, Phil. We're going to have more clues. That was just the first one. I don't expect anyone to guess the guitar from that. But I tell you what, Phil, if you are correct, then, I'm going to buy you a virtual drink, because that'd be amazing. So, yeah. Well, I think we should go straight on and do another clue. So let's go back here.
Okay.
Clue number 2, because I can't tell much from just the one.
All right, your next hint. I need the Colorado capo for this one. Thank you very much, Mark, for your order, by the way. All that time, Aaron, I had to put this on, and I wasn't even thinking. Sorry. Your next clue. This instrument has mahogany back and sides. Thank you, both of you.
That is quite a lame round of applause sound, isn't it? Whoa, hey, yeah.
Well, you got to round up 4 people to kind of clap, but if you're not that much into it, just fake it. That's the sound we got.
Can I come back?
You can. Yep.
We need to have a key. We need, when you say thank you, we need to be like a keyword to come back to the next screen. But then you're going to forget it. Yeah, but then you're going to forget it and say thank you when I put the applause and we're going to reveal it. So mahogany, wow, that throws a spanner in the works, because maybe that's why I thought it was a smaller guitar, because mahogany to me doesn't have that boominess that the Rosewood has, on, for example, on the Dreadnought. So it could be a D18. This stuff can be very hard when you don't have a point of reference, like another guitar to compare it to. So I don't think it's a D18. Let's see what they say in the chat. But that makes it harder for me to guess. Phil says, my deepest apologies, Maury. I just purchased a Grand J16E from a local distributor.
I thought you guys understood you're not allowed to buy your guitars anywhere but Maury's Music. What's so hard about that? Why can't you understand that?
Even guitars he doesn't sell, okay?
Philip, I'm completely joking. Congratulations on your new guitar day. Don't even be silly. Don't feel like that.
We've had several New Gear days then. Very good. Ryan Anthony, hi, welcome. Can almost see it in the reflection on his glasses. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Interesting. But the question is, can you see it in the reflection of his glasses? I guess we'll find out if you get it right. Bill Watson says, can't be a style 28 with hog at back and sides. Maybe a D18 Modern Deluxe. Well, this is a bit harder this week because Maury's got more guitars in stock. But I don't think you have a D8. Oh, actually, I don't know. Do you have a D18 Modern Deluxe in stock?
That's part of the attraction. If you're not sure and you want some clues, you'll head back to our website to look and see what is there. And I honestly don't know without looking. But that's if this ends up bringing a lot of people back to our website, that's a good thing too.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it now then. So let me see. All right. D18 mod. He does. Oh, maybe Phil's right. So are you changing your guess then, Phil? You changing your guess? Yeah. Do you think it's this guitar? Interesting. I can't. It just doesn't sound boomy enough to me. But then again, I'm more familiar with Rosewood than Mahogany, so I'm worried that it is going to be a Mahogany Dreadnought. Because Rosanna says a D18 as well. So D18. Oh, no D18s.
Can't be that.
Or she says the authentic age. I'd be really surprised if that was the authentic age. I think it would sound bigger, but again, I've got no point of reference, so I don't know. Joe says leaning towards the 018 at the Mo. Sounds small. Yeah, I'm still on the smaller side. I'm going to be disappointed in myself if it is a Dreadnought. Patsy Smith says the D15. Is the D15 Mahogany back and sides?
Yes.
I'm not going to look that one on your website. I'm going to have to ask you a few questions more. Come on. Okay, so we got a guess for a D15 there. Big G says I'm going to rule out all the lefty guitars.
Yeah, well,
maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm pretty talented. I could be playing lefties.
Well, with that fingerstyle you were just playing, I'm going to assume it's not, unless you've been practicing this week.
Aaron, did you see that one live by request where I played lefties? Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. You should do that every week. Mark Henry says 00015M. Rosin says the 00017 Black Smoke. David says the Martin D15M. Philip Watson says yes. Sergio, how you doing in St. Petersburg? How's the weather there? Bimo says the DX1E. Final answer. Everyone's very keen to get their guesses in when we've still got 4 more clues to go. Oh, Philip Watson has a D18 Modern Deluxe. It's perfect to sing with, not overwhelming. Yes, it's not as boomy and a bit drier sounding, so it's some people like that. Old says D18 authentic, D18 Modern Deluxe, or D18 with Addy top. Need more clues. Yeah, I don't. My gut feeling is it's a smaller body guitar, and all those guitars are very premium, high-end dreadnoughts. So I would be surprised if it was one of those. On the other hand, maybe it is, because I've not heard something else to compare it to direct. So yeah, this is an interesting week. It really is. I think I need another clue. So let's do another one. Okay.
And I'm curious to know, are the clues helping more than the sounds, or are the sounds helping more than the clues?
The clues, definitely. The fact you told us it's mahogany is obviously a huge one.
Okay, your next hint. This instrument comes equipped with Fishman electronics.
Well, I feel a massive sense of relief now because I kept thinking like, there's no way that's a modern deluxe or similar. And I know it's not a modern deluxe because you haven't got any guitars with the VT blend in stock. The Aura
So that
VT
first
blend.
clue is important then, isn't it?
But for me, the clues are more helpful than the playing. The playing is so hard because, you know, you can kind of hear the size and you can kind of hear maybe someone like Spoon could hear like mahogany and different wood types. But the clues are much more specific. Right? I mean, especially the fact you've now told us it hasn't got a... I mean, it has got a pickup, obviously. But the fact you told us the other clues were huge, like the mahogany, things like that. But I was going to be so surprised. Actually, I mean, I'm just going to put that out there because I don't like to sit on the fence. I don't think there's any way that's a high-end large guitar. And I haven't... And I don't know. I'm going to be surprised. I think it's definitely, like Patsy Smith said, like a 15 series. I think it's either a 15 kind of series Dread, possibly, or a smaller body, higher end Martin. Can I switch back to the other scene?
I guess you can.
Okay. Sergio says, I wonder how you ship guitars all over the world because it's very fragile. Well, Maury doesn't ship out of the USA. Martin dealers have to ship within their own country. But if you're talking generally about shipping guitars, I have shipped guitars abroad. You know, it's like everything else, isn't it, Maury? It's fine. You got to pack things well. If you've got it in like the original Martin hard case and you put it in a box and then even in another box and it's all padded and not moving around, I like to loosen the strings just a little bit, not too much. And if there's nothing rattling around inside there, you should be okay. But then again, things happen. So I'd recommend you always get insurance for sure.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
you know, things do happen. Knock on wood, I don't think I've had a guitar damaged over the years. I have had things like screens and digital. I'm glad you're knocking on your guitar and not one that you're actually selling, because that was a loud knock. But yeah, of course things happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think worldwide really makes a huge difference, because I bought a pedal from Thomann. I bought a few things from Thomann in the last 12 months, Maury, and they arrived the next day from Germany. So
Wow.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes I also, there's a store I like in California called Pitbull Audio. They sell stuff too. They're nice people, but it takes like a week to arrive. So I always feel like the fact it comes next day from Germany is, in a way, it's safe. I don't know, then again, who knows, right? Something can be dropped at any point, can't it? Something can happen at any point in the journey. But I don't think that's really a matter of that. I think it's just, you know, finding a good courier and packing it well yourself. And if you're selling a guitar, take the pictures and everything. And yeah, I've not had any problems. But now I've said that, I'm going to have a problem, so...
No.
Jack says, I don't see any 00 with Hog. Don't think it's a dreaded knot. Philip Watson says, change my guess to a D18E. Okay. I mean, that clue really narrowed it down. Fishman Electronics. So, is there a D18E in stock? I'm not sure. David says, I'm going with D16E mahogany. Yeah, I was thinking of 16 dread, so I think I'm going to agree with David there. Yes, Philip agrees. Good guess. Lee says, and Lee, before you say anything, I'm not cheating. The window is minimized on my screen. I'm playing along, okay? Hi, everyone. Working. Oh, he's working again. Terrible. Lee, I keep telling you, Lee, stop working and watch YouTube. Come on. Hi, everyone. Working again. My guess is it's an all mahogany guitar. Maury showed the other day. I think it was a D15. You don't think he'd show the same guitar that he's already shown off because it's easily on the rack from the other show. You don't think you'd do something like that, do you? And surely he'd go through the whole inventory and spend hours picking out a certain guitar. Ryan says a 00013E. Possible. Possibly. D16E final. Everyone stop saying final guess because
you can't have 3 final guesses.
Final guess. Okay, this is the final one. Vic G, my guess is GPC 16E mahogany. Yep, so I'm along those lines too. Smaller body, 16 series. Definitely thought I could hear that. I should have been more firmer when they were all saying it's a 28 series Mon Deluxe or a vintage recreation. In my mind, I was like, there's no way, but I'm not going to say it because I'll look silly if it is. And now I wish I had said it because now everyone's saying the 16 series. Mark Henry, GPC 16E. Sorry, I guess it's called the D16E mahogany. And Roth, sorry I'm late, work meetings. Another one who's at work. Wow. Well, I guess Maury's technically at work as well. So I guess maybe I'm the odd one out here. Okay.
You're working harder than me, I know that.
I'm working hard on my channel. Things are going great. I'm going to have a party, Maury, and you're all invited. I just need another less than 300 subscribers to hit the magical 10K. And then we're going to have a virtual party. We're going to play some songs and hang out and have some people on the screen. They don't know it yet, but I just decided that.
Joking aside, congratulations. That's tough to do. I'm impressed.
Thank you. That's going well. And this my new system is really helping with it all as well. And things are going good. Jack Wickwire says, you wouldn't say mahogany if sapelli, would you? Do you want to clarify that?
That's a good question, and it's fair. If I do say mahogany, it could be sapelli, it could be sipo. Yes, it's in the mahogany family. I'll be transparent there. Yes.
Final answer from BMO. It's like my Logic projects. When I go through my Logic projects, it's like shallow mix 1, shallow mix 2, shallow mix 10, 20, shallow mix 35, or shallow final mix, shallow final mix 2.
My computer is full of final mix 8 o'clock, final mix 8:02. Yeah. It'll be the timestamp after the last one. That's hard to do.
Oh, good point. At least you can figure out which one is the final one by the timestamp. That's good.
Oh, that's how many there are.
Good tip. BMO, final answer. Okay, so I think we need to take a little break from this to clear our ears and get some words of wisdom from our friend Roeth. What do you think?
Nice.
Viewers' comment today is from Roeth. As always, I need more. I'll give the address to send them after this one. And here is our friend Roeth.
Hello, everyone. About a month ago, I put a set of Martin Retro Monel strings on my 0018V, and I figured I'd take a moment and give my impressions so far of what these strings sound and feel like. So I've heard a lot of things about these strings before. Martin says that you can discover your guitar's true voice with these strings, whatever that means. Kind of interpreted that to mean that the strings are very neutral, meaning that they don't color the tone one way or the other, and you just hear the guitar. I've also heard that these strings tend to be very mellow, and sometimes you lose a little bit of volume. And overall, my experience with the strings so far hold all of those things to be true. When I first put these strings on the guitar, I noticed that they definitely sounded less zingy than the typical lifespan phosphor bronze strings that I use, at least when they're new. And that's really carried true for the entire month, even as the strings aged, is that they seem to definitely have a mellower tone compared to phosphor bronze strings. overall, I feel like the tone on the guitar is very balanced now with a bit of a mid-range boost, which is really what I would expect out of a 0018. So perhaps it's true that it really just lets the guitar, speak for itself without without the strings really coloring the tone at all. Another thing I've noticed is that the strings actually feel easier on my fretting hand compared to the Lifespan Phosphor Bronze strings. I don't know if it's actually less tension with the retros, or if they feel a little bit slinkier or softer, and the Phosphor Bronze just felt stiffer under my fingers, so I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it definitely feels a little bit easier to play. So overall, I really like the tone and the feel of the strings, so I'm keeping them on there. My only complaint would be, I do feel like I lost a little bit of brightness with the strings, and so my next step actually during the next strings to change is to replace what I believe are the stock plastic pins with a set of buffalo horn pins that I bought from Maury, and hopefully that'll bring back a little bit of brightness. In the companion video, I'm going to play a little bit of Spoon Phillips Riding Off to Boston. I felt like playing something a little bit happier, and also demonstrate that even with a capo on the 4th fret, this guitar still sounds awesome. So enjoy.
Thank you, Roeth, for your in-depth review there. So, I just changed strings, actually. I said last week I've been using the Elixir, and I have. And I do like them. They do last longer, but I just went back to the Martin yesterday, and they definitely have less tension, and they definitely sound a little bit more natural to me. I think they're both good for different reasons. They're a bit squeakier. Let us know what strings you're using right now in the chat. I like both. I like Elixir for their longevity on guitars that may only get played on occasion. And also I like them for recording. I think they squeak less. Although a good tip for that I heard recently was to soak your fingers for a while before you record. So your fingers get really soft and then they squeak less on the strings. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to try that out. But thank you, Rolf. That was a great video. You see, you don't have to send playing a review or something like that, or your thoughts on a product or even a musical song or anything is really, really great. Let me put that address on the screen in case you want to send something in. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. So please do. I always need more. And Bimo says, Maury, have Aiden tell his team to subscribe.
Yeah.
Rosanna thinks it's the OMC 15ME. Sergio says, I did the arrangement for my niece all day yesterday. She sang a wonderful song, but the guitar and the voice are recorded on the same track. She has a beautiful voice. Well, that's fine. That's how they used to record, right? On one track. Old says, just subscribed under my other YouTube name. You need one less. No, don't do that. I don't want that. I want all the subscribers to actually be... And I of course, I realize that just because you have subscribers doesn't mean they're actually active or watching everything. But I don't make fake accounts and stuff. And what I like about YouTube though is occasionally you'll lose subscribers because YouTube will go in and delete inactive or duplicate accounts from your channel. And I like that because, like I said, I don't want you know what I'm saying. Yeah, unsubscribe from that one. Sergio says, maybe there's ways to separate the voice from the guitar or to make the guitar quieter without losing the quality of the vocals. Yeah, always get an interface with 2 channels and try to record each track separately if you can. It gives you more control over the 2 sources, the 2 tracks. Kookie's back. It's been a long time. What's new with you, Kookie? Give us a life update in the chat. He says, I never liked the Monels. David says, I like the Monels. I have them on my 00017.
Cool.
And then Aaron Short Music said, get your sandhole sniffer, tea mug and sticker here. Because Roeth looks so handsome in that, you should all have one. There we go, look. Roeth wears the t-shirt very well, I told you. I usually play the Dario nickel bronze strings. I have those on all my other guitars, including the 12 string. I haven't played those strings for a while. I want to try them again. Sergio says, what's the difference between a guitar for songs and for fingerstyle? Well, there's a thing online. A lot of people say a smaller body guitar is good for fingerstyle because it's clearer and less bass. And then people say a larger guitar is good because when you strum it, it has more low end. And then some people say certain woods and guitars even suit people's voices better. Someone asked me that on a comment the other day, Maury. They said, what guitar is best to sing with? I mean, that's a very specific question. And I do see people talking about that, the way the frequencies may get out the way of your range. So if you're a baritone singer, male singer, you might want a guitar that naturally cuts those frequencies so your voice sits in the mix better. It's definitely some truth to that. It's not something I've really paid attention to because I usually plug in, so I could always do some EQing anyway. But there's definitely some truth to that. And we have mahogany today. A lot of people like to record mahogany because it has a kind of a drier sound that records well. And actually, Anderton's just unboxed the D18 on their channel, and I made a meme from that, which I mentioned last week. And he was saying, they didn't say anything, but he was saying he likes the D18 to record with. He does a lot of session work and likes to record mahogany, which I can see that. Rosanna gave a round of applause to Roeth for the review. And Bimo says, I have to try Monell's on the retro to see if they suit me. Yeah, and if you do, make us a video. It'd be good to get like different people's opinions, right? Because the reason this stuff is all so good is that everyone likes different things. Everyone likes different things on different guitars. I like different things, different hours of the day. So we're all different. So send the video in.
Yeah.
Nice review, says Olds. Philip Watson says phosphorus bronze. Phosphorus. That's a good word, isn't it? Big G says, absolutely nothing wrong with Martin Monell's. They just aren't for me. Nice review, says Philip Watson. And Joe, I'm so glad we have a name now. Joe says, I use elixirs on my acoustic and electric guitars. I like the feel, consistent tone, and longevity. Other strings feel rough under my fingers now. Yeah, I didn't really notice the feel difference going back. I noticed it going to them, but going back again, I didn't really notice the feel. In fact, I quite like the feel of the Martin strings. Like I said, I do find they squeak a little bit more. I feel like it's really weird. The Martin strings used to die for me pretty quick. They don't anymore. I'm not sure if they changed the way they make them or if it's just possibly me. Some people say it's what you eat and therefore what you sweat can affect the strings. Elixirs definitely last a long time. They definitely have more tension, but you could just use a lighter gauge. You could use 11 elixirs as opposed to 12 Martin. That would fix that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of going between the two, but I think they're both good for different reasons.
Aaron, speaking of the squeak, and I know you watch YouTube a lot. You ever see that video with the studio trick? I don't know if it was Mutt Lang or some famous producer. They'll actually, if somebody's playing chords, go from the C to the D and switching. They'll take the space where they switch from one chord to the next, and they'll cut that part out. I've never ever gave that any thought, but some people take the time to erase the part where you switch from one chord to the next to erase that stuff.
Some people will just record that chord. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, stop. Okay, next chord is a G. So 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, stop. And then they'll paste them in. I've seen people record like that.
With nothing of this. That's crazy.
You know, I'm not sure how I feel about string squeak. That's a whole video there. Like, I'm a big fan of Tom Waits, and when he plays piano on his songs, you hear the stool creaking and the pedals pressing down, and I love that because I feel like I'm in the room with him. Yeah. The guitar, I mean, there is such a thing as too much. Like if you hear more string squeak than guitar, and that's a higher pitched sound, isn't it? So maybe that's not quite the same thing. But I want to try the thing where you soak your hand before you record, because that sounds like a good way of fixing it. Because even elixirs still have the squeak. They just have, well, mind you, I'm not using the ones with the full code. There's different versions, right? I'm using the nano web. The poly web, I think, have even less. But, but they are good. They are good strings. And my electric, I just haven't restrung for months. I need to do that. Cookie says, nothing is new. I have a lot of work and less time for guitars. This is disgusting. He's soaking his fingers to try this live. And then if he takes a drink from that cup later on, no, you're not allowed to drink from that anymore. All right, now see if the squeak is gone. Or you didn't actually do it?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually did it.
It's iced tea.
I thought you actually did it and then took a sip. Rora says, thanks all. I've really been enjoying the 0018V. The retros just added a bit of sweetness, I think. Oh, thank you all. You unsubscribe. That's the only time I'll ever say thank you for unsubscribing when you subscribe from a second account. I hit the like button instead. That's great. Or just share it. Best thing you can do for me is share it with your friends. That'd be great. Jim says, my Martin... I just don't like these names. O2XMAE has string joy phosphor bronze 1252 strings. The Faraday OT25W came back from the doctors with Santa Cruz phos bronze mid tension strings. Yeah, I did try the Santa Cruz strings once and I took them straight off again. I don't know why. I should probably try them again. Roeth, I use coded strings, add sweetness too. For me, my nails have an electric feel. So you do use coded strings. Now, what strings do you use, Kooky? I'm interested. And technically, well, the Martin strings are not coded. They're treated, right? So they're not coded strings, but they're treated. I want to know what Kooky uses. Oh, okay. Sergio says, my sister doesn't have the ability to record on 2 tracks. This requires a dual channel card, microphone, stand store. Of course, yeah. Just do what you can. I mean, if you just record into one mic or even a phone, that's fine. You just got to use what you have. Obviously, I just meant in the future, Sergio, if you can get some kind of interface with 2 channels, that's easier to manipulate. But then again, a good performance on an iPhone is can be a good thing too. Do my nails represent how strings were made in the past? That's a good question. Do you know the answer, Maury?
Don't, but it's likely.
I presume so. I presume that's where the whole retro thing comes from, the original way. What can you advise on the quality of recording vocals and guitar, budget audio card and microphone? There's so many great affordable interfaces out there. I really like the Scarlett that I use. It was like $100 or something with 2 inputs, and it works with iPad and iPhone as well. That even powers it, and then you can record on the go. Check that out. Or ask me on Wednesday for Gear Chat, Sergio, and I'll go into more details. Oh, Sweetwater's Mitch Gallagher showed that anti-squeak trick. I haven't seen that. I need to check that out then. I need to see that. Focusrite or Presonus, there you go. I agree. Everyone needs to try retirement. Jim is recommending retirement. Very good, Jim. Rosalind, Martin Retro, Elixir, Daddario, and just bought some Stringjoy 12s. Yeah, Stringjoy 12s. Who else has said that? Stringjoy 12s. I tried them once and I quite liked them. But I've just gone back to the Martin and the Elixir. All right, let's continue with our game. Let's throw a spanner in the works and let's get another clue.
All right. Your next hint. This instrument is not a dreadnought.
That's what I said. That's what I say. I said it earlier. It's not a dreadnought. Anyway, what's that? Okay. Can I come back to the next screen?
Yes, but no bragging. That's tasteless.
I did say it's not a dreadnought. I'm gonna go back into the replay and find where I said that and just play that again. But what is it? I don't know. What I don't know is if it's an OM or a GPC. That's the tough one.
And if you're joining us late, Jack Wickwire made a very, very important connecting the dots. It could be mahogany or sapele. So that my second clue was mahogany back and sides. It could include sapele if that helps.
Joe says, wouldn't soaking your hand soften the skin and increase the risk of finger cuts from the strings? I once showered, then played a gig just after and sliced into my finger. I stuck it with super glue. Yeah, well, I actually thought that, Joe, as I said it, I was thinking, obviously, we want the calluses on our fingers, right? We want to build that up so we don't get sore fingers or anything like that when we're recording or even playing a gig. So, of course, but I think what they mean is they literally do it just for that take. Like if there's a take where it's a problem, they do. I don't think they mean they're doing it throughout the whole day, the whole session, because you're right, you would get issues with that. I'm not quite sure. I need to look into it some more. I just know that I had that on a recording recently, and I went through to try to cut them out, to dip the volume with the automatic, what do you call it? Automation. Try to use automation to dip the volume, and it kind of works, but obviously removing that completely would be more beneficial. I don't know. It's this whole thing now of modern music, isn't it? You don't, because we don't hear it in recordings anymore because everything's so synthetic. When you hear it now in your recordings, it sounds really weird. But actually, it's just completely normal. But yeah, if you can reduce it, that's a good thing. Have you heard the new Taylor Swift song, Maury?
I have not heard that new one or any of the other ones. No, I haven't.
Someone was posting on social media about how terrible it is and how modern music is so terrible, which I do partially agree with. But I went back and I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I think I might be wrong. It's like a 10-minute song, which these days is a huge thing, right? It's like Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like, wow, songs now are like 2 minutes. So 10 minutes is cool. So I skimmed through it, and I may be wrong, but I think the only downside is, and call me a snob if you want, but there's 10 minutes, but I think it's the same progression the whole 10 minutes. So I don't think that's quite in Bohemian Rhapsody league. But I haven't listened to it all through. I might be wrong. It may modulate halfway through and go into a jazz form. So I won't, that's just my initial impressions. I haven't listened to it all yet. Bimo says, I don't ever record. I just play for me and Claire. The cat usually wants out. Don't talk to me about cats this week. Ours have been bad every day.
Oh.
These cats. They need to go to cat school. Roslyn thinks 00018E. Well, we'll do one more clue. How many? Let me just slow down here. How many more clues do we have to go?
1.
Only 1. They do add to the show, don't they? That's do add awesome. To the show. So one more clue. Then we'll get the final answers. Chalarism, welcome. I just got a Sterling Harmony H224 with Bitwig software. It's killing me. I don't know what that is.
In English, please.
Yeah. Philip says, give up. Could it be the OOL Earth?
Philip said uncle. That's cute.
Uncle? I thought it was a typo.
When you say uncle, you're like, I give up. Uncle, say uncle.
Oh. No, the Earth is not mahogany back and sides, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, well, it's a paleo. Yeah, I think so.
That'd be funny if it was last week's.
Philip.
Oh, yeah, no pickup in that one. Good point. David Belcher says GPC 16E mahogany. Final answer. Right, final answer. Maybe the OOC Junior 10E. I don't think so, Joe. We'll see. Happy to be proven wrong. Kooky says on the 0018V I use Adamas strings. Never heard of those. On all other Martins I use Martin strings SP. On Eastman exclusively D'Addario XPs. On Taylor's either Elixir or aluminium bronze. Right, you're very specific there. So Kooky, do you go through each guitar and try different strings to see which strings suit that guitar the best? Beamer says left-handed Street Master. My final answer. Sergio, I now have a UR22 Mark II card. This is a great product. When I buy myself a more Steinberg UR44, I'm thinking of sending it to my niece, but I won't understand microphones at all. Well, take your time. It's a lot to, learn with recording and things like that. I'm sticking with my earlier guess of the GPC 16EM. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Vic. I think I'm with you. It doesn't sound like a small guitar. To me, it sounds like maybe a GPC, definitely a 16E. Yeah, okay. Did you check if that one is in stock right now? Because we need to know that, of course. Kooky says, for singers, a mic is like an instrument. Once you start to compare them, you'll find they all sound different. So I have a question about microphones for you then. Because Peter Gregg just did a review of some microphones, right? A microphone, like a guitar, they each have their own. Can you put the guitar back? It's really messing with my head.
I thought you weren't even looking.
The microphone, like a guitar, has its own kind of built-in EQ, right? Not built-in EQ, but they have their own sound, which you could argue is like an EQ. So how important is it, and let's focus on microphones. What do you think, Maury? How important is it to audition different mics and choose one for your voice over just buying something that's in your budget, that's decent and recommended by people, and then applying EQ to get the sound that you want? What do you think?
That's a really, really good question, and I would almost make that, I might have two different answers for recording and live. But speaking from experience, I've often tried to look on forums and YouTube videos, and I mean, I started buying microphones way before there were forums and YouTube videos, but kind of asking my peers, what works well. I honestly think, if I'm being honest, when I first started shopping for microphones, I tried to find things with the lowest noise floor and the most transparent sound that didn't introduce noise or problems, and then I didn't really give any thought to, is one microphone going to be brighter than another, until I ran into I think it was the Rode. There was a Rode, I'm going to forget the name of it now, but there was an NT1 maybe that seemed like it was going to be very attractive because it added a lot of top end and was very bright. And before I used that 3 or 4 times, it was just shrill. And that sent me into not a tailspin, but I really was afraid to ask other people opinions, because what somebody might really want for their home studio setup and their voice and their guitar, it's almost like not asking anybody for help, because everyone's going to have a different opinion. The same 5 or 6 microphones every so many years comes in bunches, and you can almost sort of see trends. But it's to buy a microphone on the predisposed EQ curve that it has is probably smart. But God, how would you really figure it all out? I don't know.
Yeah, and most people EQ when they record anyway, right? Even if you get a really high-end mic, you're still going to apply EQ in the final recording. So that's why I say, does it really matter? I think if you're starting out or want something affordable, something like the SM7B, and I haven't used one, but I've heard them, that friends have used them in recordings, and that everyone raves about them, and they're affordable. So I'd get something like a Shure SM7B, and then just get good with EQ. But like we said, we're going to be EQing stuff anyway. And you can apply the same thing to a guitar, right? So you can record a Dreadnought. You can go in and shelve off the low end to make it sound more like a triple O. The guitar's more important if you're playing it in the room, because you're hearing the natural room EQ. But with a microphone, you tend to be recording it anyway. Just stuff to think about. But yeah, Peter's thing was interesting. He had 5 mics set up and sang into each one. And again, I really loved the sound of the Neumann he had in there. To me, that was the clear winner. But I wonder if he could have matched the others with EQ. That's a whole video. A lot of people talk about EQ. A lot of people will say, well, is the Kemper better than the Helix? And they'll say, well, you can just re-EQ it. And to an extent, that's true, isn't it? But then some people don't want to have to go in and do those shortcuts to make things sound different. But yeah, EQ is definitely a very important thing. Old says, okay, I'm starting over, either GPC 11E or GPC 16E.
Starting over?
Oh, it's a USB interface, says Chalarism. Chalarism was saying before, a Sterling Harmony H224 with Bitwig. Okay, that's an interface. I didn't know that. I'm building a home budget studio. There are things that, in my opinion, are not worth saving. For example, acoustic guitars. Cost savings. Yeah, I mean, you can say about anything. sometimes in the past I've gone for the highest end piece of gear, thinking that will save me money in the long run. The only danger with that is if you then do change your mind and you want to sell it and you have to lose money on it. So I think it's good to get something really solid and affordable in the beginning, and then really take your time to decide if you want that higher end stuff. Because I mean, the affordable stuff now is so good anyway. And here we go. Thank you. In line with my foams that I was talking about at the start of the show. Kooky says, see, it is a very important thing I was talking about, Maury. Coherence is important. Poor room acoustics cannot be corrected by a good mic. Thank you, Kooky. How about that? It's almost like I text Kooky and said, can you come in and discuss foam panels? But I didn't. I haven't spoken to him for weeks. That's great. But that's a really good point. You can have the best guitar, best acoustic guitar, and the best microphone, or not say the best. You could have a mic that's worth 10 grand and have it in a terrible room with terrible acoustics, and it will sound like junk, right? In the recording.
It's gonna faithfully reproduce a bad room. Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes the high-end stuff is so transparent that it's a bad thing because you hear every minor detail.
Good point.
So enough said. Kooky, I used to try lots of strings for each guitar. For the 0018V, how do you say it? Adamus?
I think it's Adamus, but I'm not sure.
Adamus is what I could find on day one. I was happy, so I did not change. That's a really good point. Once you're happy, or at least these days I say, once I'm happy enough, then stick with it.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it works, don't change it. I was watching a stream today. Someone said, should I take the pickups out of my old Clapton Strat and try something else? And they said, if you're happy with how it is now, leave it alone. I really agree with that. Sergio says, I think it'd be difficult for me to explain to my niece. Charlie says, I look for the most Germanish mic I can afford. Warm Audio. I hear good things about them. Beamer says, that Rode NT5 is a great microphone. Yeah, the Rode stuff is great. Kooky says, EQ cannot create frequencies that were not captured by the mic. Mic should work with your voice flat. That's okay, great point. So you can take things away fairly easily, but you can't add stuff that's not there.
Right.
Yeah. Corky, is Rosswood best wood on guitar? Do you mean rosewood? Well, if you mean rosewood, Maury and I would probably agree because we're both fans of rosewood. But Kooky, for example, will say no, mahogany is the best because he's a mahogany fan. And then I recently learned from some luthiers, can you believe it? There's other woods too. There's not just mahogany and rosewood. It's crazy. There's actually several other woods out there. Kooky says, I'm sure if my niece had a very good guitar, her progress in songwriting was faster. I don't know. Good is subjective. I was watching a video today. They were talking about the guitar and how badly it was set up. And I thought, okay, two things to say on this. First of all, I thought, well, the setup of the guitar it's not really fair on the guitar itself. That's the setup that's the problem. And I read a great quote this week that said, when you buy a new guitar, it's like buying a suit. So when you buy a suit, Maury, you find the suit you want in the store, and then you have it adjusted to fit you and your body, right? Perfectly. That's just part of the deal, right? You don't buy when you buy a suit, you don't have it tailored to fit you, and that looks, right? So they were saying a guitar is the same. So you buy the guitar, and then you have it tailored, which would be the custom setup for your playing. And I think that's a great way to look at it. Yep. So I'm going to use that in all my videos now. That analogy.
What's a suit?
Suit you. Kooky says SM7B needs a lot of gain. Yeah, I never tried it. I never tried the SM7B. I know the the one I reviewed. What was that called?
Oh, the 81?
The 81 needs a lot of gain. Yeah. Which I don't really think is a problem, but depends on your interface, I suppose. Oh, SM7B needs the cloud lifter. So the cloud lifter adds gain to the signal. Yeah, you can always add one of those. But that's the cost, of course. I like Shaw for vocals, Rhodes for instrument. Olds, I haven't got to brands of mics yet. Still mucking through large condenser versus small condenser versus XY stereo. Yeah, it's a big topic, you know. You can talk about microphones as much as you can talk about guitars, of course. Lee says mango is the best wood. Does inspiration depend on the quality of the guitar? I think women understand this differently than men. I don't think it's a man and woman thing, Sergio. But the first part of your question is, does inspiration depend on the quality of the guitar? I think that's purely down to you. I think some people find inspiration in expensive guitars, which is fair enough. And I think some people are just inspired by the guitar that inspires them. Sometimes that can be $100 guitar. Some people care about that stuff and some people don't.
That's a good point. I think it's fair to say that the more somebody likes the guitar, the more inspired they'll be, but it doesn't necessarily have to coincide with cost. If you have a guitar that really, really moves you and you can't play it for 3 months because it's getting repaired, I think that there could be truth in that, but I don't think you could just buy a more expensive one and be happy.
Yeah. But there are some people that associate the price or the exclusivity of the guitar to the emotional attachment as well, right? I've often said, like, I like seeing certain names on a headstock. Yeah, that kind of goes with that as well. But price of the guitar, no, I think it's just fun. Yeah, something that works for you, definitely. Okay, so we're going to have one more hint, one more clue. And then we all take our final guesses. All right.
All right. We have time for one more hint before the big reveal. Cue the dramatic music, please. Your final hint. This instrument is made in Mexico. Thank you. It's safe. Word time. It's safe.
I definitely heard the low end there because I think you were playing an open E chord, right?
Correct.
So I could definitely hear that bass. So I'm sure it's not an OM. I think it's a GPC. And you said it's mahogany with the pickup. So Martin guitars, acoustic, electric. That's going to... Oh, I can't search.
It is time to recap. While you're looking, I'll do what we do on the actual podcast.
Okay.
All right, the instrument is in our current inventory. This instrument has mahogany back and sides, or sapele. This instrument comes equipped with Fishman electronics. This instrument is not a dreadnought. And this instrument is made in Mexico.
I'm seeing a GPC X2E mahogany. $700. That's got a pickup. Oh wow. So I haven't had time, obviously, to go through the website. So I'm going to see what other people are saying. But I definitely think it's a GPC. But I could hear that low end. Let's see what people are saying. Cookie's got a question. Maury, do you provide custom setup for online sales, and does it cancel the free trial period if you order the custom setup?
We do offer the choice between the factory setup, which we actually verify for free. We make sure that what Martin was intending in the target that they want to hit. We make sure that if it's out of that, we bring it back into spec for free. And then past that, if you would like a custom setup, we certainly will offer a custom setup to your specifications, and that takes into account the height, the string height at the nut, at the saddle, the amount of relief in the neck, and your choice of strings, and that does not exclude you from the ability to return it.
Oh, it doesn't. That's good. Yeah, it's so difficult with the setup because I always say it's like having a haircut. When you go to get the haircut and they say, yes, what are we doing today? And I say, just make me look good. I'm like that with guitars. How do you want your guitar set up? Just make it easy to play and sound great. It must really annoy luthiers. Yeah, make me sound good. Make me play good. You know, it must really annoy people. Because it helps if you know what strings you like, what gauge you play, what tuning you're playing is important too, right? Because someone might buy a guitar and say, I play an E flat standard. And then you're going to set it up for that tuning. So this stuff is important.
There's some of the questions I'll ask, are you going to be keeping the same tuning? Will you be changing string gauge? Those sort of things. Somebody might be playing a lot of open chords that really need to tune down a lot. And if they wanted that plus extra light strings plus low action, we have to have a conversation because they're going to get some part of that's not going to be good. So, yeah.
Kooky says, Sergio, I have many, many guitars. Some are expensive. My wife has only one cheap Chinese-made guitar. David says, I'm bamboozled. It does sound nice. Philip Watson says, the DX16E. Big G says, I can never remember if the Road Series is made in Mexico or US. Road Series is US, right?
Am I allowed to answer that?
Yeah, that's not related to the game.
The Road Series is Mexico.
Oh. GBC 11E, final answer. Okay, if there's a GBC 11E, I'd probably go with that as well. Unless there's a 13E, it might be a 13E. GBC 11E, yeah, I think I agree with that. GBC 11E. I'm just skipping ahead because we're running out of time. Everyone's saying GBC 11E. I think I'm going to agree with the GBC 11E. Alex. GPC XYEZJKMH-MX. That's how I feel sometimes. Like, just call it mid-sized Martin with pickup. I don't know.
Alphabet soup.
Rosanna is unsure, and usually she's right in there with the answer. Yeah, Maury's music is currently rammed with traffic, and the provider is calling up Laurie and saying we've got a real problem here. Like, everyone from Aaron's show is on there. I can't handle the stress. Okay, so before we reveal, and I'm going to ask you now. Put in your final answers. We currently have the most people watching of the whole show, so it seems to me most people are just tuning in for the answer, which is fine too. So put your final answers in the chat. All right. And before we do the reveal, let's get a question here from Kooky. That's a good one. What is your favorite setup? Do you play high action or low action? How is your guitar set up?
I don't have a.
Oops. Or should we leave it like that?
You can. Wow.
Who made that? Me or you?
I think I made that, but I'm sorry I did. Well, I made the picture and then you put a bunch of graffiti all over it. But I like a high action because I like to be able to play the guitar very, very not carefully. How can I say this? I like a comfortable playing guitar, but not to the cost of that I've got to play delicately or be careful how hard I hit it. I like to be able to hit it And as much as I want to try to, every once in a while, I take the action lower and I try to go to a gig and play more conservatively. And I try to tell myself, if I just calm down a little bit and I don't hit it too hard, I can appreciate lower action, and I don't ever get along with that. So my action's closer to 430 seconds, if you can believe it. And I've got light strings and just a little bit of relief, but I like my action on the high side.
All right, so I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the website, and I'm going to see what I'm sure it's a GPC. So obviously the 28E is not it, because it's made in Nazareth. The 16 series is made in Nazareth, right? That's what I meant before. I didn't mean the Road series. The 16E is in Nazareth, right? And that's out of stock anyway. The 16 mahogany is what it would be, but that's made in Nazareth, so it's not that. Aha! The 13E Ziricote. Hang on, is the 13 series made in Mexico?
A 13 is part of the Road series.
It is, okay. Just remind me, so Road series is 13, and then 16 is not. So right? Is that right?
16 is its own series. 13, 12, 11, 10 are part of the Road series.
Okay, and then, okay. So I think it's that. I think it's the GBC 13E. Oh, no, because that's Ziricote. Hang on. This one's out of stock. Okay, so here we go. GBC 11E. Or there's also the X2. If that's the X2E, I'll be... No, it's not. It's Rosewood. Hang on. Oh, there's an X2E mahogany. Right. If it's the X2E mahogany, I'll be really impressed, because it's $700. So I think it sounds more expensive than that. So I think it's going to be the 11E. But let me just check what the back and sides are on the 11E. Yep, okay.
Could I interrupt you with a question right there?
Yeah.
Because maybe some other people are thinking the same thing. Please elaborate when you say this sounds more expensive than that. What do you mean as a buyer and a shopper?
Well, I was sure at the start of the show when people were saying it's I mean, was it Rosanna said that that's an authentic? I was like, there's no way that's an authentic. But I was almost too scared to say it in case it was. I would have been really embarrassed. But I was like, there's no way it's an authentic. So I definitely thought it was something more in the kind of 16 or lower range. But I don't know. I haven't played or heard the GPC X2E. X2E. I'd be interested to hear that. I just think, to me, it sounds... My gut feeling is I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd hear the X2E and prefer the sound of that to the 11E. Who knows, right? That could be a good episode, actually. Yeah. Comparing the X2E to the 11E to the higher ones, the 16 or whatever. That'd be a good comparison, because I've not really spent time with them to know. I'm just going on gut feeling. Is that the GBC 11E or the X2E? Well, first of all, what woods is the 11E? I've already checked that. Sapelli, okay. So it could be that. I just think I'm basing it on those two, Maury. So to me, it's like, does it sound like a $700 guitar or a $1,000 guitar? I think it sounds more like a $1,000 guitar, which is why I'll be impressed if it is the X2E. All right, but just bear in mind that I haven't heard them back to back, and I haven't even played these two guitars. So I'm purely just going off, hunches here.
Right.
So I'm going to stick with the Martin GBC 11E. And before we reveal, let's see what everyone else is saying in the chat. So BMO says 11E as well. And Rosanna says OMC 15E, but not sure at all. Vic says GPC 11E as well. But Mark says GPC X2E. SC13E has Koa back and sides. That's right. And the SC13E, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the back and sides doesn't make sense with the clues we had. OMC 16E burst, Avanco, ultimate answer, nice. 16 series is US made. Yes. Yeah. I'm glad I cleared that up in my mind today. The X is HPL, yes. Oh, hi, Michelle. Is it Michelle? Okay, hi. I'm always so worried that I say people's names wrong. Hi, Aaron. I had to watch Switzerland qualify for the soccer. Very cool. World Cup. Oh, great. I'm not a sports fan, so forgive me. I didn't even know that was happening. I'm guessing Spoon Phillips is watching that right now. Sending Italy to the playoffs. Very cool. Now it's guitar time. Okay. Well, don't forget, this is always up for replay. You can watch the replay anytime, so it's fine. But the show works.
The replay.
You can share the replay, but the best format for the show is that it's live, and I love it when people are here interacting. Even today, I love the fact we did the game, but we've also had some other chats as well. I really like that format. It's nice. David says 15 series and up are made in Nazareth. Okay, cool. The laminate top Martin have sweet tone, says Kooky. Yep, I often say that about the Taylors as well. Sometimes in fact, that brings us back to the question we had earlier, the comment we had earlier. Sometimes the affordable guitars are really impressive. Sometimes you pick them up in the store and you play it and you think, that sounds really good. That just sounds like a really good guitar. So, I think most people are agreeing with me on the GPC 11E. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reveal the answer, and then I either get my own bragging rights or we'll go back through the chat and see who actually got it correct. So make sure you have your final answers in. Let's build this up now because we spent an hour and a half on this game. So we're going to take our time to reveal it. We'll go over to Maury on the screen here. I will cover up the guitar with this graphic here. And then I'm going to play a sound effect I've specially downloaded from Stream Deck, which is a drum roll.
I love it.
And suspense. I'm going to have both because this is a big moment in the show. And let's hope I don't fail. But I won't keep you in too much suspense. Because it may be raining outside. Oh, that's a long sound effect. Okay. All right. So, here we go. Drum roll, please. And the guitar. Yeah, take
this instrument.
Oh, do it again. I'll let you do it. Go.
Oh, are you sure?
You do it, and then I'll play the drum roll. Teamwork. Here we go.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this instrument is the Martin GPC 11E.
Woo-hoo-hoo! I was wrong!
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. And a lovely comment we got there from Jim. Hurry up, I've got to make dinner. Well, thanks, Jim. Thanks for your support. Rosanna's laughing. And Michelle, what? Italy has to go to playoffs? They've lost me there. They're talking about sport.
Yes.
So I want to just recap. So when you first played it, I'm still really surprised that people went straight in with the high. I want to know why they did that. They went straight in with like modern deluxe and authentic. I was really surprised because that to me did not sound like that. But then the clues really helped. The clues helped me more than the sound. But what helped?
Oh, my battery must be dead on that camera. Sorry about that.
You know, I told you to stop trying to be so clever, Maury.
You were saying.
Hang on. What was I saying? You've completely thrown me off now.
That's
yeah.
me. That's my bad.
The biggest clue, obviously, the clues were the biggest help to me personally. I mean, the minute you said it's mahogany, that was a huge game changer. But then at the end there, like Spooner's often said, and I agree with, when you play those low E open chords or E minor, E major, right on those, so that all the strings ring out, that's when I heard it was a GPC and not an OM. I could hear that, especially because I've been playing GPCs lately. I'm very familiar with the sound of them. But yeah, and my final thing was correct, right? I wasn't sure if it was the X2E or the 11E, and I was just, what's the word? I was just totally judging whatever my ideas are about price, thinking that sounds more like $1,000 guitar than a $700 guitar. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're basing your experiences on what sound, and if you're really going to be impressed by a sound, and then find out at the last moment it might be something a lot less than you thought you had to spend, even if you don't admit it, that's probably a predisposition that a lot of us have. If you take a ride to a guitar store because you want to spend $2,000 and something sounds much better at $500, you're not going to just be casual about it. It should surprise you. You probably go into every purchase expecting, to a degree, there's always an exception, but to a degree, I've got to spend this much money to get what I want, and that really surprised me that I like that better because it's a lot less. I don't think you're alone in that thinking, if that's what you're trying to say.
But what I would do next is I would obviously, if I was shopping, if I was there, I would then do the same, but with the more affordable guitar, the cheaper guitar. And then if that not just sounded better, because we don't get to feel the guitars too. I think as the guitars go up in price, they also feel different. So if that guitar felt and sounded as good or better, obviously I would choose that one. Obviously, also, we like to think the more we spend, the better things sound and feel. I think we've spoke before about how much you need to spend on a guitar. And I think I said around $1,000 is a good point. I do think at around $1,000, you get that kind of, well, let's say $1,000 to $2,000, you get that kind of sweet spot. And you do start to you get the diminishing returns, don't you, after a certain price? Like once you start spending 5, 10, 15 grand, do you hear that kind of difference? I do think that is there. Like I said, though, I want to just add that in clearly. I haven't heard or played the X2E. Isn't that the X series? Isn't that the one that's, what am I trying to say? That's laminate? That's
Jack Wickwire made a point a few minutes ago. That's actually a piece of high-pressure laminate on the back and sides.
HPL,
dressed up like mahogany. So when you see an X2E mahogany, the mahogany word means the appearance, but it's really not wood. Right.
And I have played some of those guitars, and they do sound different to me. I think I'd be interested in that, talking about the humidity thing, a bit like my carbon guitar, because there's less wood in it. But yeah, to me that did sound like the 11E. So yeah, that's where it all came from. No, I'm pleased. But the clues definitely helped. And you got to remember, the first time you played the guitar, like we were all just like, "What's that? Like, what is that?"
Yeah.
How we have no reference, we have nothing. We just know that sound. Right. So yeah, it's definitely fun, but it's also educational as well. Old says Aaron's raining on Maury. Yes, I was for a minute there. I got to remember that's a 2-minute sound effect. So, good job picking that one, Maury. You're on double secret probation now. No light. Old says no lightning, please.
Ooh.
I don't have one for sunshine.
What would that sound like?
Yeah. What does sunshine sound like? Jim says, how does it sound plugged in? Wait, what's the pickup in there?
I have to check. I believe it's the MXT. Yep, it's the undersaddle pickup with a tuner. So it's a very dry, immediate sound. It's not enhanced like the bridge plate sensor on the enhanced system. There's no aura. It's your basic, undersaddle sound with a tuner is really what you're getting.
Let me ask you, when you tuned that for today's show, did you use the built-in tuner or did you do it by ear?
I did it by ear, honestly.
Interesting. And the next thing, can you see how close you got it with the tuner?
Yeah. Well, when I say by ear, I played my guitar and tuned. I used my guitar as a pitch pipe.
Okay.
So I didn't. This isn't a perfect pitch example, but I can see how close I got it. A little sharp.
I thought you'd done it by ear. I'm still fascinated by the perfect pitch. We have rich taste.
Should I try to sing another perfect G sharp note for you?
No, we'll I think we're done with that one. We have rich taste, says Lee. How's it sound plugged in? So it's basically a Fishman undersaddle pickup, Jim. They're talking about the football there, so I won't put that on. GP and M's are my bass sweet spot. I have both. Alan says, just got here. Am I stupid to want to answer your survey? No, in fact, I didn't end the survey. I'll finish the show with that. No, the survey's open for the whole show. Alan said, Lewis is here. Hi, Alex. He says, we back, baby. He says that in everyone's stream. Oh, he meant Aaron. It auto-corrected to Alex. Jim says, my O2X-MAE is all HPL, concert size. How do you get your mic so crispy? Are you using a preamp? It sounds like an SM7B from Shure. Well, who are you talking to, Lewis? Are you talking to me or Maury or both of us? I do get compliments on my mic, but my mic was it's a premium mic. It's like a Sennheiser shotgun, and it's going into the Apollo Twin. So if you didn't like the sound of my mic, I'd be really upset. I have to say, yeah. But that goes with my point from earlier about getting good stuff. Like, I have no kind of desire to upgrade my vocal mic or my interface. Sometimes I wish I had more channels than just the two. But aside from that, like the quality-wise, I have no issues with any of it. It's good. New guitar day, new gear day. That's a lot of guitar for the money. I agree, especially since it has a pickup in there as well. Aaron might be using his Neumann. This is a Sennheiser. I always forget what it's called. And so in the description now on the channel, I always have the gear I use. I just updated it to reflect the stuff I just changed out. So I always put that in the description below, so you can see exactly what I am using. But yeah, I'm very happy with the mic. I'm very happy with the mic and the interface. They're very good. Do you recommend the Apollo Twin? I mean, talking about premium gear, you know, it's so difficult. Like, the Apollo Twin is so much more expensive than other options, and you have to then buy the plugins. But the plugins are so darn good, and I feel like it's fine because I use it all the time. The only thing that would suck, Maury, is if they brought out a new version with new plugins and you had to buy them all again. I think with software, that's the downside. Yeah. You know, with like take for example a tube amp, right? You buy a tube amp and you just use up your whole life, and you just keep retube it, use it whole. But you buy a Helix, and then 5 years later there's the Helix. Or Fractal are really bad at that. They bring out one, 2 years later there's the HD, a year later there's the Turbo. You know, and you have to buy the same. We don't have to, but the temptation is to re-buy it again. So I don't know, but I do love the Apollo Twin. I'm still, even though I got the no fan now, I'm still using the noise gate, and a lot of people compliment me on that. In fact, Clayton reached out the other week and said, "What mic do I use to talk into?" So people really like it. But then again, Maury's mic sounds great too, and that wasn't as expensive as this one, was it? This is like $1,000 mic. How much was yours? $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think mine was maybe under $300. It's a Rode NTG2.
300. There you go. I don't think I can hear a difference. And also, I'm too scared to take it out. Like, I didn't take this to NAMM. I'm too scared to take it out of the apartment. It's too expensive.
I take my toys everywhere I go, but that's because it's, you know, so much cheaper.
That's a good point. And that's a good point with guitars as well, right? So it depends what you're using it for. Like, are you going to be taking it out to gigs? Are you going to be using it just at home in the studio? These are all things you got to factor in with any piece of gear. All right, Lewis, I like the gear questions, but I'm now doing gear chat on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock EST. So save them for that and ask me there, and I can go into a lot of detail about those things. That'd be great. Maury, just tell us what your schedule is for the week.
Well, tomorrow, don't bother because it's the Maury's Music Podcast.
You do it all again.
On all the platforms, and it'll be a different guitar, so you should watch. But I want to thank you guys for playing this game, and if you liked it, let us know in the chat. Tomorrow you can play a whole new game, and you don't have to listen to me and Aaron talking, and there won't be any. It'll be, you know, in your car, so it's a private version. Wednesday we come back to YouTube 4 p.m. for a virtual tour of our current inventory. That's episode 81 at 4 p.m. on YouTube. We take you through a quick tour of our current Blue Ridge and Martin inventory. And then Thursday is the return of Martin versus Martin. It's at 6 p.m. on Facebook, where Clayton, we just talked about Clayton a moment ago. Clayton works at Martin Guitar. Maury works at Maury's Music. We play cover songs back to back for an hour. We take your requests. We have lots of funny sound effects, some cool graphics, and that's at 6 p.m. on Thursday, and that's my whole week.
Cool stuff. I'll be doing Gear Chat Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST, and I should be live for the Sunday live stream on Sunday at 4 p.m. EST. I always say the best thing you can do is subscribe to our YouTube channels and press the notification bell, turn on all notifications, and then you'll be told when we're doing anything, pre-recorded, recorded, or live. Lewis says, you're right, for a gig, I take my nicer ukulele, and for playing at home, I use the cheap one. Actually, I was thinking the opposite, Lewis. I was thinking you'd take the cheaper one to a gig and use the nice one. But again, that's the great thing of this stuff, right? It's all about what you want to do, what works for you, and how you want to do things. But yeah, tune in Wednesday, and we'll talk about that in some detail at 1 o'clock. The poll, also to finish up the poll, did you have new gear day this week? No, said 70% of people. It's a secret, 17%. I like that one. And yes, 11%, 34 votes. Thank you for taking the poll. I appreciate it. It's all fun. It's all in fun. Thank you for playing the game. Really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this, share it with your friends and ask them to check it out. Make sure you subscribed and ring the bell. Have a very cool week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for being here. Without you being here, it wouldn't be half as much fun. And we'll see you real soon. Thanks, Maury. Thanks for your time, too. I'll see you soon. All right, buddy?
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down.